बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। श्रीमद सद्गुरु महाराज की जय। Dear devotees, as we do Vandana, let's all try to meditate on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord and the Spiritual Master, seeking their guidance, their blessings and protection as we begin this wonderful satsang tonight. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। कस्तूरीतिलकं ललाटपटले वक्षस्थले कौस्तुभं नासाग्रेवरमौक्तिकं करतले वेणुः करे कङ्कणम् सर्वाङ्गे हरिचन्दनं सुललितं कण्ठे च मुक्तावली गोपस्त्रीपरिवेष्टितो विजयते गोपालचूडामणिः नमः कमलनाभाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तद्ध्वं हदेवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशम् मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। आदरणीय वंदनीय पूजनीय पंडितगण, विप्र मंडली, प्रिय सज्जनों, प्रिय भक्त समुदाय, महानुभाव, most worshipable Pandits, Pandit Satyanand Maharaj of the Satya Anand Ashram and the producer of Bhakti TV, the spiritual head of the Shiva Harijan Mandir, Pandit Tulsi Prasad, and of course Pandit Shiva Kumar Samalal. Dearest devotees of the Supreme Lord, the Divine Souls. First, let me say Radhe Radhe to each and every one, and my pranam, my humblest prostrations to all of you. We're also live on Bhakti TV, so very special welcome to all those viewing on Bhakti TV throughout the world. Special Radhe Radhe and Pranam, and a special thank you to Pandit Satyananda Maharaj from the Satya Ananda Ashram in Arangwes and producer of Bhakti TV. It's indeed a great pleasure, बहुत हर्ष की बात है एक बार और इस पवित्र स्थान आने पर। बहुत साल पहले आए थे, जैसे पंडित जी ने कहा, अब फिर भगवान कृपा से फिर एक बार और आए, और ये नई आशा कर रहा है कि एक ही बार नहीं और बार बार आऊंगा। It's a great pleasure again to be here at this sacred place, the sacred Mandir, the Shiva Harijan Mandir. I had come here before, as was told by Panditji, many years ago. And it's a great pleasure to come again. And hopefully it wouldn't just be one, it'll be many, many more times. In this time of COVID, and the precautions we have to follow and observe, so even though we may seem to have a large attendance, I'm sure it would have been even much, much bigger if we were not observing all these restrictions and rules. We have to be very careful, and of course many are very, very scared. Even then, a very, very hearty welcome, swagatam, and a great blessing to all of us who have taken the courage to be here. Please do wear your mask. Please try to keep the social distance. Please try to sanitize. We don't want anyone getting sick as a result of, oh, Swamiji came to the Mandir and that's why we all came and then we got sick. Of course, Bhagwan's blessing, this is not going to happen. ये भगवान कृपा से सब कुछ होते हैं. By the grace of God, everything happens in His will, and we give thanks to Him. Before I begin tonight's discourse, we had some beautiful bhajans which I so enjoyed by the singers. I have to find out afterwards. So wonderful listening to them. We'll join again a few lines of bhajan, kirtan, written by Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu. This bhajan, we have books that we have given out or will be given out. When you get the book, please turn to page 16. This bhajan is encouraging us to chant the name of Radha Rani, Shri Radhe. Who is Radha Rani? The Vedas tell us, Yeyam Radha Yasha Krishna Rasabid Dehas Chaikah Krinana Tad Vidha Bhut Atharva Vedi Radhika Tapani Upanishad. The highest authority, which is the Vedas, are saying there is no difference between Radha and Krishna, Shri Krishna. They don't even have two bodies. One supreme power has taken two forms for the sake of Krida, divine pastime. Again the scriptures tell us, Radhika Krishna Rupam Cha Krishno Radha Swarupakah Sanakumar Sanghita. Radha Rani is the form of Shri Krishna and Shri Krishna is the form of Radha Rani. But there was something special about Radha, even though she is the form of Shri Krishna, that Shri Krishna worships Radha. The Vedas say about Radha, Atma tu Radhika tasya. Ved. Who is Radha? She is the Atma, the soul of Shri Krishna. And so the Rig Ved says, Krishnena aradhyate iti radha. Rig Vedi Radhiko Upanishad. That Supreme Brahm, Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, whom everyone worships, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, everyone worship. He also worships someone. Who does Shri Krishna worship? He worships Radha. So Shri Krishna is always chanting Radhe Radhe, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, even Shivji. When Bhagwan Krishna played the Basuri to begin Maharas, Shivji also came and took the form of a gopi. Shiv became Shivani to take part in Maharas, Gopikeshwar. That's gopi known as Gopikeshwar. So he's also chanting Radhe Radhe, everyone. So we should also chant Radhe Radhe. This beautiful bhajan tells us to chant Radhe Radhe. Every moment chant her name. Along with chanting her name, every moment meditate on her. She is the shelter of all the shelterless. O Radha Rani, leaving you aside, where else can I go? We will chant a few lines of this beautiful bhajan, page 16. Radhe Radhe Shri Radhe 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 Shri Radhe 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 O Radhe Radhe Shri Radhe 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 Shri Radhe 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 Gao Chin Chin Naam Radhe Gao Chin गाओ छिन छिन नाम राधे गाओ छिन छिन नाम राधे ध्याओ छिन छिन रूप राधे श्री राधे 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 ध्याओ छिन छिन रूप राधे श्री राधे 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 ध्याओ छिन छिन रूप राधे Shri Radhe 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 Ram Chin Chin Roop Radhe Shri Radhe 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 O Shri Radhe 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 Shri Radhe 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 Shri Radhe 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 Shri Radhe 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 O Radhe Radhe Shri Radhe 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 Shri Radhe 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 अगति की गति तू ही राधे अगति की गति तू ही राधे तो ही तजी कित जाओ राधे श्री राधे 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 तो ही तजी कित जाओ राधे श्री राधे 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 श्री राधे 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 ओ मांगो भुक्ति ना मुक्ति राधे मांगो भुक्ति ना मुक्ति राधे मांगो तव पद प्रेम राधे श्री राधे 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 मांगो तव पद प्रेम राधे श्री राधे 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 ओ श्री राधे 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 श्री राधे 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 ओ राधे राधे श्री राधे 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 श्री राधे 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 अब न छोड़ू पाछा तेरा राधे अब न छोड़ू पाछा तेरा राधे प्यार करे या मारे मोही राधे श्री राधे 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 Shri Radhe 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 Shri Radhe 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 Maya vash mein to bhula Radhe Maya vash mein to bhula Radhe तूने काहे भुलाया मोहि राधे, श्री राधे राधे राधे।
तूने काहे भुलाया मोहि राधे, श्री राधे राधे राधे।
ओ श्री राधे राधे राधे,
राधे राधे राधे,
श्री राधे राधे राधे,
राधे राधे राधे।
राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे,
राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे।
असबर दे वरदे मोहि राधे, असबर दे
वरदे मोहि राधे।
तो सो कभू कछु नाही मांगू, श्री राधे राधे राधे।
तो सो कभू कछु नाही मांगू, श्री राधे राधे राधे।
ओ वेद जेहि कहा ब्रह्म सो, वेद
जहि कहा ब्रह्म सो।
पायो नहीं तव पार राधे, श्री राधे राधे राधे।
पायो नहीं तव पार राधे, श्री राधे राधे राधे।
ओ श्री राधे राधे राधे,
श्री राधे राधे राधे।
ओ राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे,
राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे।
मेरा बल तेरा नाम राधे, मेरा बल
तेरा नाम राधे।
पाऊ दिन आना होगा तो ही राधे, श्री राधे राधे राधे।
पाऊ दिन आना होगा तो ही श्री राधे राधे राधे।
हो कृपालु कुपूत जगत बहु, हो
कृपालु कुपूत जगत बहु।
हो कुमाता न जगहू राधे, श्री राधे राधे राधे।
हो कुमाता न जगहू राधे, श्री राधे राधे राधे।
श्री राधे राधे राधे,
श्री राधे राधे राधे।
श्री राधे राधे राधे,
श्री राधे राधे राधे।
श्री राधे राधे राधे,
श्री राधे राधे राधे।
ओ राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे, राधे राधे
श्री राधे राधे राधे।
ओ राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे, राधे राधे
श्री राधे राधे राधे।
राधे 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 श्री राधे राधे राधे, श्री राधे 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 श्री राधे राधे राधे, श्री राधे 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 श्री राधे राधे राधे, श्री राधे राधे राधे
श्री राधे राधे राधे।
राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे,
राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे।
बोल राधा कृष्ण भगवान की जय। Now let us all try to be very attentive, बहुत सावधान होके। Let us be very attentive and listen very carefully. हम लोग के पास एक बहुमूल्य वस्तु है, बहुत बहुमूल्य वस्तु है, और क्योंकि हम लोग नहीं जानते, इसका मूल नहीं जानते, तो जो हमें करना नहीं करते हैं। We people have something of great, great value in our possession, a most priceless thing. But because we don't know the value of this thing which we have, we don't utilize it in the right way. We waste it. What is the thing? एक कथा सुनाऊंगा पहले. I'll tell you katha first. In 12 hours of Brahma, the creator, which is called one kalp, there are 14 Manus. Manu, the lawgiver. Like the Manu in the present age we are living is called Vaivaswat Manu. The first Manu was Swayambhu Manu. Swayambhu Manu. The son of Swayambhu Manu was Priyabrat. The son of Priyabrat was Agnidra. The son of Agnidra was Nabhi. And the son of Nabhi was Rishabhadev. Rishabhadev is also called Rishabha Bhagavan, as he is counted among the descension of Sri Krishna. Divine descension. So he is known as Rishabhadev or Rishabh Bhagavan. Rishabh Bhagavan had 100 sons, Sauputra. 100 sons. This katha is from Bhagavad. Actually, Naraji is relating this katha to Vasudev in Dwarika. When Bhagavan Krishna was staying in Dwarika, after he left Vrindavan and then he went to Mathura and finally he went to Dwarika, the city was built in the ocean. The moment Shri Krishna left this world, that city sank into the ocean. What is called Dwarika today is not this Dwarika. It was inside the ocean. So, Naraji, being a great devotee of Bhagavan Krishna, used to come again and again to have darshan of his Lord. And Vasudev, the father of Shri Krishna, used to always come also from Mathura. And so happened one day, Vasudev and Naraji happened to meet during the visit. Seeing that great saint, Naraji is not just a Rishi Muni. Naraji is also called Brahma. In Bhagavad Mahapuran, there is description of 24 descensions of Shri Krishna, and Naraji is counted among that as a descension of Shri Krishna. Seeing this great sage, this great saint Naraji, Vasudev fell at the feet of Naraji and said, Hey Narad Muni, कुछ ऐसे कथा सुनाइए जिससे हमारे प्रेम प्यार भगवान के लिए बढ़ जाएंगे. Although Vasudev was the father of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, the Supreme Lord, yet because Bhagavan wanted to enjoy that relation with the soul of father and child, he made him forget. He made Vasudev forget that he is the Supreme Lord. So all Vasudev knew was that Shri Krishna is my son and I love him more than my life. Bhagwan kuch nahi jante. Bhagwan has a special power called Yog Maya, also called Durga, Radha, etc. This power Yog Maya does something special. Kartum akartum manyatha kartum samartha. It makes the impossible possible. And Bhagwan is the governor of Yog Maya. So through this Yog Maya, he made all the devotees forget who they were, forget that he is Bhagwan, and he made himself forget too. Apne aap ko bhula diya. So he could enjoy the reason for his descension. Many reasons. One of them was to enjoy with his devotees. So Vasudev says to Naraji, Hey Maharaj, Narad Muni, please relate to me some katha. The word katha doesn't mean story. People say katha and they think story. No. Katha means that thing which you listen to and gets you closer to Bhagwan, which increases your love for Bhagwan. That is called katha. Doesn't mean story. Story is something someone made up, a fantasy. Nothing in the scripture is fantasy. So Naraji agreed, and Naraji related this katha that I've started, Swayambhu Manu, etc. So Rishabdev, Naraji is saying, this 11th canto, 2nd chapter, Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran. He's relating this katha. That Rishabdev, descension of Sri Krishna, had 100 sons. Out of them, the eldest one was Bharat, Jar Bharat. That very famous katha of Jar Bharat, the 5th canto of Bhagavat Mahapuran. Bharatji ruled the whole world for 10 million years. He was such a great devotee and personality that before Bharat, this world was known as Ajanabha Varsh. And because of Bharat, the world became known as Bharat Varsh. So the eldest son was Jar Bharat. Out of the 99 that remained, 81 became Karmakand, Purohit, priests, performing yagnas, etc. 9 became 9 rulers of the world, and 9 were Yogishwars. Yog Ishwar, God among yogis, Yogishwar, topmost among yogis. Kavi Havir Rantariksha Prabuddha Pipalayana Avirhotrotha Dhumilas Chamasa Karbhajana. Bhagavat Mahapuran, 11th canto, 2nd chapter, 21st verse. The 9 Yogishwars name are given. Kavi, Hari, Antariksh, Prabudh, Pippalayan, Avirhotra, Drumil, Chamas, Karbhajan. 9. I mean, you have heard about Brahma, the creator, when he was told to go and create by Bhagavan, first thing he created Babajis. They are called Manas Putra. Brahma didn't have any wife at that time. So from his mind, he created all these great entities, Babajis. Paramhans, the Sapta Rishis, Naraji, etc. Narad, Angira, etc. The 4 mind-born sons, Sanak Kumar, Sanandan, Sanatan, Sanat Kumar. These 4 you have heard about, Manas Putra. They always remain 5 years old, little boys, and naked, nange. They go wherever they want, no one can stop them. They don't have to take a ship, a spaceship. All they have to think in their mind, I want to go to this solar system, to this divine abode, and they reach. They reach in a moment. That kind of power. In the same way, these 9 Yogishwars, they were the same like these 4 mind-born sons of Brahma. They could go wherever they want. And no one would stop them. Whoever they wanted to bless, whichever divine abode they wanted to go. There was a great personality known as Videha Nimi. Videha, there are many Videha famous in the scriptures. One of the most famous Videha is Janak. Raja Janak, the father of Mother Sita. He was called Videha also. Videha means Paramhans. One who has no feeling of the body. He has no feeling of the body Everywhere he experiences Brahm, 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 Brahm. He's called Videha. So Nimi was also Videha. Once Nimi, Videha Nimi, was performing a yagna to increase his devotion for Sri Krishna. The priests, the purohits, in that yagna were the rishis and munis. Hearing that Videha Nimi was about to perform a great yagna, the 9 yogishwars came there to bless Videha Nimi. They suddenly appeared. Videha Nimi saw them and he realized who they were. Being such a high personality himself, he saw that these were the topmost among saints. Divine entities. There was a glow about them, a light. Immediately Videha Nimi got up and ran to meet them. The rishis and muni, they also went. Agni, the god of fire, he has a personal form. He came out of the fire in his personal form and also went to greet them. They were given beautiful seats, worship in the highest way. And then Nimi, Videha Nimi greeted them. Durlabho manusho deho dehinam kshanabhangurah tattapi durlabham manye vaikuntha priyadarshanam. Bhagavad Mahapurana, 11 canto, 2nd chapter, 29th verse. Many questions Videha Nimi, he questioned them. This opportunity, Bhagwan Shri Krishna says in Gita, Tadvir pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshinah. Chapter 4, verse 34. If you are so fortunate, this is the greatest fortune anyone can have, to meet such an entity. What kind of entity? One who is Jnaninaha plus Tattvadarshinah. Jnaninaha means he has knowledge of all the scriptures, all the Vedas, all the Puranas, complete knowledge. Plus he can give us that knowledge. He can make us understand it. And secondly, he is Tattvadarshinah. He has seen, he has attained the divine vision, the divine knowledge, divine bliss of God. He has attained God realization. In other words, a saint. If you are so fortunate to meet such an entity, what should you do? Shri Krishna says to Arjun, Tadvir pranipatena. Firstly, completely surrender to him. Pranipatena. Number 1. Number 2, pariprashnena. Ask him question. Not to see how much he knows or show how much you know. Sometimes people ask question. I want to see how much he knows. Or we have read a little bit here, there, and we think, I know everything. Let me make a fool out. Let me go and have argument with him. No, not like that. Shri Krishna says, pariprashnena. Not just prashna, pariprashnena. With an inquisitive mind. Because I have doubt, I don't know. That way you should ask. With the faith that he knows. We have to ask question. That's how our doubts will be removed. But we have to be careful whom we ask from. So ask question. And number 3, sevaya. Do his seva, serve him. He will give you the divine knowledge of Shri Krishna, divine knowledge of God. So Videha Nimi, this is what he is saying. 9 topmost saints. What a better opportunity. Beautiful katha. In Srimad Bhagavad Mahapurana, 11 canto, from the second chapter onwards till about the sixth chapter. So many great questions were asked by Videhanimi for the benefit of the world, and these 9 Yogeshwars one by one answered. But the first thing he addressed them and said, O supreme amongst gurus, O true among gurus, first thing, Durlabho manusho deho, this human body, manushya deho, manushya deho, is the rarest and most difficult thing to attain. Durlabho. Plus, it is kshanabhangur. At which moment we can lose it, we don't know. Nobody knows. But even more difficult to attain, Vaikuntha Priya Darshanam, to have the association of a true saint, one who has seen God. This human body is the most valuable gift that God gives to the soul. There is no greater gift than the human birth. We don't understand. The Vedas tell us, Iha cheda vedi dattha satyamastina chediha vedin mahati vinashtihi. Keno Upanishad, chapter 2, verse 5. The Vedas are saying, hey, human beings, listen to me. Having acquired this very valuable human birth that even Devatas are praying and begging for, immediately try to attain your aim of human life. Otherwise, you will be doing the greatest harm to yourself. What harm are the Vedas talking about? Ihache dashakat bodhum prak sharirasya visasaha tata sargeshu lokeshu sharirattvaya kalpate. Kathopanishad. Second canto, 3rd chapter, 4th verse. The Vedas are saying, having acquired this very valuable human birth that even Devatas are praying for, immediately try to attain the aim of God realization. Otherwise, you will have to keep rotating in the endless cycle of birth and death as ordained by divine law. How difficult it is to get human birth? In the Vedas it says, Sargeshu. One sarg is equal to one kalp. One kalp. How long is a kalp? The age we are living in is called Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, the worst age. The most evil of all the ages. Kali Yuga. Twice Kali Yuga. So how long is Kali Yuga? How long will Kali Yuga last for? 432,000 years. Only a little more than 5,000 has gone. Kali Yuga has now started. What we are seeing is nothing yet. What will happen in Kali Yuga? People will stop believing in God. Already, there's a new religion, atheism. We don't believe in God. In America, in schools, etc., you can't take God's name. You cannot say Merry Christmas or anything like that. They say Happy Holidays because of atheism. They have rights too. Yeah, you go to any bank, anywhere, they will tell you Happy Holidays. They can't say Happy Easter or anything. Forget about Diwali or anything else. It will happen here also, eventually. Everywhere. Twice the length of Kali Yuga is equal to Dwapar Yuga. 3 times Kali Yuga, Treta Yuga, and 4 times Kali Yuga, the age of Satyuga. These 4 combined is called one Chatur Yuga. 4,320,000 years. One cycle. This world goes through one cycle. When Kali Yuga will finish, it will go from the top again to Satyuga. Uncountable times has happened. One Chaturyug multiplied by 71 is equal to one Manvantar, the age of one Manu. Like I told you, Swayambhu Manu, and the Manu of the age we live in, Vaivaswat Manu. How long does one Manu live for in our time? 306,720,000 years. And there are 14 Manus, 14 Manvantar. In 12 hours of Brahma, the creator, is called one Kalp. 4,294,080,000 years. 12 hours of Brahma. In the same way, he has 12 hours of day, 12 hours of night. Brahma lives for 100 years. His time, 100 years. Our time, 311 trillion and 40 billion years. At present, Brahma's age is 50 years. At the end of 100 of his years, there's Mahapralay. Everything dissolves into Bhagavan. Shri Krishna alone remains. Anyhow, so one kalp is 4 billion, 4.3 billion you can say, approximately. And Sargeshu means plural. For many kalps it takes. After many kalps we get birth, we get a chance to get birth in the human form. Only through the causeless mercy of Bhagavan. Bhagavan Sri Ram is saying to the residents of Ayodhya, कबहुककारी करुणा कर दे देत ईश बे हेतु सने जय राम श्री राम जय जय Kari, Bhagwan Sri Ram himself is saying to the residents of Ayodhya, Uttarkand of the Ramayana, Kabahuk kari karuna naradehi det isha binu hetu sanehi. Very seldom, very rare does the Supreme Lord, who loves the individual soul without any self-interest, bestow upon it birth in the human form. It's the most difficult and rare birth to attain, human birth. Jagadguru Shankaracharya, there are 5 original Jagadguru. First there was Jagadguru Shankaracharya, then came Jagadguru Ramanujacharya, then came Jagadguru Nimbarkacharya, then came Jagadguru Madhavacharya, and finally recently Jagadguru Tam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu. Jagadguru Shankaracharya, who is saying the world is false, it doesn't exist. That's whatever we see is an imagination of our mind. I'm imagining you, you're imagining me. This is also imaginary as far as he is concerned. Yet, he's saying, this human body which he's saying is an imagination of the mind, it is the greatest, one of the greatest gifts from God. Durlabham trayamevaitat daivanuggahakarakam manushyattvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha sambhavaha. Jagadguru Shankaracharya is saying, 3 things are most difficult to attain. And that too, only when God will shower His grace, Daiva Nugraha. In other words, these are His three greatest blessings. And which is the first one? Number one, Manushyatvam, birth in the human form. Number two, Mumukshutva, a yearning, a longing for God. Not everyone has this. A lot of people go to church, a lot of people go to masjid, a lot of people go to Mandir, to the temple. How many people want God? A yearning to see God. Very few. Majority, 99.99%. They pray. But what are they praying for? For the world. Whether they are praying to Christ, whether they are praying to Muhammad, whether they are praying to Allah, Khuda, Shiv, Krishna, Ram. Oh Lord, let me get a good job. Let me win the lotto. Let me get a good boy for a husband. Let me get a nice girl for a wife, etc. They pray for the world. Very few pray that, Lord, I want you. I want you. A yearning, a longing for God. That is called mumukshutva. Very difficult, very rare. And number three, Mahapurusha Sambhavaha, to have the association of a true saint, one who has attained God, seen God. Out of the three, birth in the human form is the most important, as we can only have a yearning, a longing for God and the association of a true saint after getting birth in the human form. In Bhagavad Mahapuran, which is the most important Puran, there are 18 Puranas. And Bhagavad is told to be the most important. Why? Bhagavad is called Pancham Ved, fifth Ved. There are four Vedas, Rig Ved, Yajur Ved, Sam Ved, Atharva Ved. But nobody can understand Ved because Ved is divine. So Veda Vyas wrote translation of Ved and he called it Bhagavad Mahapuran. The Bhagavad Mahapuran is the translation of Vedas. That's why it's called Pancham Ved, the fifth Ved. In Bhagavad Mahapuran, and by the way, just to mention, a few days from today, starting on 22nd of January, we will be starting something called Bhagavad Mahapuran Yatra. Yatra means a spiritual journey. We'll be going to various mandirs, etc., doing Bhagavad Mahapuran, reading that sacred text called Bhagavad Mahapuran. You want to join us? We'll lovely have everyone to join us. You're welcome on that. We're hoping to do 21 days. Normally Bhagavad is done 3 times a day for 7 days, which is 21 session, right? But because of COVID and the restrictions, we'll only be doing once a day in the night and 21 sessions. So we're taking the journey of Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran. Anyhow, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says to Uddhav, his great friend, in Bhagavad Mahapuran, you see, just as we know Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna is questioning and Shri Krishna has given answer, Bhagavad Gita comes from Mahabharata, the epic known as Mahabharata. In the same way, there's Uddhav Gita. Uddhav Gita. In Bhagavad Mahapuran, Uddhav is asking question and Shri Krishna is given the answer. So it's known as Uddhav Gita. In Ramayana there's a Gita also. It is known as Ram Gita, Shri Ram Gita. In Uttar Kand of the Ramayana, एक बार रघुनाथ बुलाए, गुरु द्विज पुरवासी सब आए. Once in 11,000 years, the Lord, when he came as Sri Ram, he stayed for 11,000 years. Once in that 11,000 years, he called everyone in Ayodhya and he gave a lecture. That is known as Ram Gita, Sri Ram Gita. So 3 famous Gita. Shri Krishna is saying, and being questioned by Uddhav, Nidehamadyam sulabham sudullabham plavam sukalpam guru karnadharam mayanukule nanabhasvateritam puman bhavabdhim natarets atmaha. Bhagavad Mahapuran, 11 canto, 20th chapter, 17th verse. What is Shri Krishna saying to Uddhav? The exact translation of this verse in Bhagavad Mahapuran, Uddhav Gita, Sri Ram gives in the Ram Gita, Sri Ram Gita in the Ramayana. Listen to what Sri Ram says, exact words he's saying to the residents of Ayodhya. नरतनुभव वारिधिक बेरो सन्मुख मरुत अनुग्रह मेरो. जय राम श्री राम, गुरु दृढ़ नावा बोलो, दुर्लभ साध सुलभ करि पावा बोलो. जय राम श्री राम, जय नरत अनुभव बारिधि कहूं बेरो. This world is called Bhavasagar. Baridhi, Bhavanidhi, Baridhi, many names. Bhavasagar. The word Sagar, Baridhi, Nidhi means ocean. An ocean of suffering, mundane existence, Maya. To cross an ocean, we need a boat. A boat. There are 8.4 million types. आकर 4 लाख 84 जीव नित्य के लागी आकर 4 लाख 84 जीव नित्य योनि जीव नित्य विनाशी. जय राम श्री राम, यह जीव अविनाशी। जय राम श्री राम जय जय Bhagwan Sri Ram is saying, his own lotus mouth, he's saying, Akar chari lakh chaurasi, yoni brahmat yah jiva avinashi. The soul, we're not the body. This body belongs to us. We, because of ignorance, we identify with the body. It's very valuable, but it belongs to us. Whatever belongs to us cannot be us. You say, my house, my motor car. Huh? Does anybody say, I am the house, I am the motor car? No. If someone starts saying that, you immediately put them in the mental asylum. So my body, my head is hurting me, my body is paining. Then how do we say, I am the body? I am a Trinidadian. I am a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian, a Buddhist, a Jain. I am a teacher, doctor, an engineer, a Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. These are all titles of body, bhaiya. So because we don't know who we are, how do you define someone as being mad, crazy, crack? One who does not know who they are, who doesn't know who their mother and father is, their parents are, who does not know where their home is, who doesn't know right from wrong, we say he is mad, pagal, crazy. So it means we are all crazy, mad. If someone calls you mad, don't feel bad. Because we don't know who we are, we identify with this thing. The body. The soul has no titles, neither is the Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian, a Buddhist, a Jain, no. It's not a Trinidadian, no Guyanese, no Indian, no American. Not a Brahmin, a Kshatriya, a Vaishya, Shudra, no. The soul has no title. You can't even see it. It's eternal, indestructible. Na jayate mriyate va kadachinnayam bhutva bhavitava na bhuyah ajo nityah shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Chapter 2 verse 20 Gita. Shri Krishna says, the Jivatma, the individual soul, who we are, does not take birth, nor does it die, nor having come into existence does it cease to be, because it is unborn, eternal, and most ancient. It is not destroyed, even when the body is destroyed. So the soul, there are 8.4 million forms of life, according to Sanatan Dharma, Hinduism. 84 lakh yoni. 84 means 84. Lakh means 100,000. 8.4 million. And the soul, who we are, keeps rotating in that 8.4 million forms of life. Dog, cat, donkey, worm, tree, grass, according to our actions. Yoni brahmata yaha jiva avinashi. The soul is indestructible, eternal, beginningless. Never had a beginning, will never have an end. So in that 8.4 million form, the human body is the best boat, the best vessel, the best ship for crossing the ocean of Maya. God is saying, I have given you the most competent vessel, the boat in the form of the human body for crossing the ocean of Maya. Sanamukha maruta anugrahamero. I've also given the favorable wind of my grace. Without God's grace, nothing can happen. But the ocean is a very dangerous ocean. There are huge fishes in that ocean that will eat us alive. Greed, anger, jealousy, hatred, lust. We need a good boatman or else the boat will be smashed to pieces. So he says, I've given you the expert boatman in the form of the Sadguru, the true saint. The true Guru, the true saint. Jnaninaha Tattvadarshinaha, as Shri Krishna says in Gita, chapter 4, verse 34. And yet, you make no attempt to cross the ocean of Maya. Listen to what Bhagwan Shri Ram is saying to the residents of Ayodhya, and Shri Krishna is saying to Uddhav. Doha. जो न करे भवसागर नर समाज अस पाई हो रामा नर समाज अस पाई सोकृत निंदक मंदमती आत्महन गति जाए हो रामा आत्महन गति जाए सियावर रामचंद्र कर जय शरणम शंकर हरि ओम जय जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम जो न तरे भव सागर नर समाज अस पाई. Haven't gotten this very valuable human birth, so rare and difficult to attain, the rarest and most difficult birth. And we don't make any attempt to become free from this endless cycle of birth and death. The Lord is saying that person is extremely stupid, mandamati, dull-witted, and atmahan gati jai. He is a murderer of his own self. All you think in the world, human birth, is to enjoy the senses. What to see, what to hear, what to smell, what to taste, what to touch. You have no time for God. Just enjoying the senses. Having a good time in the world. That's all you... And when you pray to God, it's just to get more of the world too. That's not why human body was given to us, human birth. You know, there was a great saint known as Bhartihari. Bhartihari said, Ahar nidra bhayamaithunani samanya me tat pashubhir naranam. Hitopadesh. He says in the scripture, Hitopadesh, as far as ahar, eaten, nidra, sleeping, bhay, fear, and maithun, mating are concerned, human beings are equal to animals. It sounds very bad that a great saint is calling us animal, pashu. Are he's been very nice to us. We are worse than animals. Worst. Look, what do goats, cows, buffaloes, etc., what do they eat? Natural herbs, grass, etc., that God has provided for them. In the same way, God has provided an abundant variety of natural things for us also. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, water, everything. But do we eat natural food? Huh? No, we are human beings. We are very intelligent. We have to destroy all the vitamins and minerals, everything, and then we're going to eat. We're not animals to eat original natural food. We're going to deep fry and spice up. As our mind and as our tongue say, we're going to eat. And at 25 years of age, we suffer from the gravest of illnesses. Have you ever seen a dog or a cow or anything frying the food before they eat it? A goat? A saint comes along and says, Bhaiya, eat boiled takari, steamed vegetable. Oh, I can't eat steamed vegetable, it can't go down. I want chatak matak. Or else I can't eat it. And one day you go to the doctor and he says, you have diabetes. Now only steamed vegetable, no fry. Yes, doctor. But when Guru was telling you, don't eat steamed vegetable, you don't want to hear. Now you think you're going to die, now you're willing to do anything. And then it becomes too late. An ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. How intelligent we are. Destroy food, all the vitamins and mineral, everything, and then we eat. Second point, nidra, sleeping. If you look at birds, animals, etc., they are very regular in their sleeping habits. There's a certain time they go to sleep, a certain time they wake up. And they're very punctual also. We human beings, sometimes we go to sleep 6 o'clock, sometimes 8 o'clock, sometimes 12 o'clock. And nowadays, Facebook, WhatsApp, social media, whole night. We spend thousands and thousands of dollars when it comes to the bedroom, what kind of bed we want and what kind of sheet, etc. But when it comes to sleeping, we have no rules. I'm not bounded by time and all these things. I'm a human being, I do whatever I want. Well, then you should be intelligent enough to keep good habits and keep the body healthy. Shri Krishna says, Yuktahara viharasa yukta. He says in the Gita, one should not sleep too much nor sleep too little. One should not wake too much nor wake too little. One shouldn't eat too much nor eat too little. One should not drink too much nor drink too little. Everything should be done in a scientific and regulated way. But how do we listen? And then we wonder why we're getting sick. Diabetes and this thing and that thing. And you see a fella eating steamed vegetable and salad. Oh, he's an animal, he's eating grass. Third one, bhai, fear. Birds and animals, they roam about freely. Whether it's night or day. They don't know such a thing called fear. Can we also claim to do the same? Fear is an integral part of our life. Hey, don't go alone there in the night. Don't go alone there in the dark. Everywhere fear. And the last one, maitun, mating. Cows, buffaloes, etc. They mate only once a year. Once a year. Human beings, we spend almost our whole life running after sensual desires, thereby ruining our senses, mind, intellect, body, soul. Everything is ruined, destroyed. And then we say, I'm no animal. Yes, we're not animal. How can he equate us to animal? We are worse than animals. Many, many things. Animals are superior to human beings. Why then does the scriptures say that human being, the human form is the most superior in the 8.4 million forms of life? In the second line, Bhartrihari tells us, Jnanam hitesha madhiko vishesho Jnane nahina pashubhis samana. Hitopadesh. Jnana. The power of knowledge, the power to discriminate, is the mighty power that human beings have in abundance, and not the other creatures. Either is very small or non-existent. Animals mostly act on instinct. They cannot think. They cannot decide that this is right and that is wrong. This is real and that is unreal. The power to discriminate places us on the higher plane to other creatures. And the destruction of that power to discriminate puts us next to them or below them. What destroys our power to discriminate? Krodh, anger. Shri Krishna says in Gita, Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smiti vibhrama, smiti banshat buddhinasho, buddhinashat pranashyati. Chapter 2, verse 63, Gita. What happens when we get angry? From anger comes delusion. From delusion, loss of memory. When we lose memory, we lose the power to discriminate, and everything is destroyed. We become an animal. Bhagwan Shri Ram is also saying to Bharatji, when Bharat went to meet Shri Ram in Chitrakoot, he says to Bharatji Maharaj in the Ramayana, हित अनहित पशु पक्षियु जाना मानुष तनु गुण ज्ञान निधान बोल राम 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 राजा राम 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 बोलो राम 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 राजा हित अनहित पशु पक्षियों जाना मानुष तन गुण ज्ञान निधाना. That which places human being on a higher plane to other creatures is that abundance of jnana, jnana nidhana, that human beings possesses, and not the other creatures. The great gift of knowledge, jnana. While the soul can rise to the highest, it can also fall to the lowest. When that gift of knowledge, the power to discriminate, is destroyed, we become just like animals. Bhakti Hari says, Yesham na vidya na tapo na danam jnanam na shilam na guno na dharma te mrityu loke bhuvi bhara bhuta manushya rupe na mrigash charanti. Has the form of a human being but has become a heavy load, is verily an animal. A very famous katha in Bhagavad, in the Ramayana, very famous katha. Sapt Prashna. Sapt Prashna. Kag Busundaji, a very great devotee of Bhagwan, of God, Sri Ram, was asked 7 questions, Sapta, 7 questions, by another great devotee, Garuji Maharaj. Of the 7 questions, the first and most important one was, प्रथम ही कहाँ नाथ मति धीरा प्रथम ही कहाँ नाथ मति धीरा सब ते दुर्लभ पावनी शरीरा बोलो जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram. प्रथम ही कहूँ नाथ मति धीरा, सब ते दुर्लभ कवन शरीरा. Kagbasundji Maharaj says, first of all, oh my strong-minded master, oh Guruji. You see, when you meet the right person, you question for the benefit of the world. Guruji is not that he is ignorant. Kagbasundji says to Guruji, Jnani Bhakta Shiromani. As a Jnani, as one with knowledge, and as a bhakta, devotee, you are topmost, Shiromani. You're only pretending to be ignorant to bless me. That's why you have come here. Guruji is saying, for the benefit of the world, oh dearest Guruji, tell me, what is the rarest and most difficult birth to attain? The best in the 8.4 million forms of life. You see, as I said in the beginning, if we value what we have, this human body, we don't understand how valuable thing we have in our possession. Huh? If you don't know the value of something, you don't care. If you place before a child, a little child that is creeping, you place a $10,000 diamond ring, and along with that you place a toy, the type that goes toot, pee, pee. Which one the child is going to take? The toy. Because the child doesn't understand the value of a $10,000 diamond ring. In the same way, if we don't understand the value of this human body, we'll waste it. What we're doing. Just having a good time, enjoying the senses. If we understand the value of this human body and why it's given to us, we will go the right way. Kagbasundji answers and says, Ram, Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Bolo Ram.
Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Bolo Ram, Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Bolo Ram.
Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
नर तन सम नहीं कवनी हुदेही जीव चराचर जाचत जे बोलो
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
बोलो
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
नरक स्वर्ग अपवर्गन से ज्ञान विराग भक्ति सुख देरी बोलो
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
बोलो
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
नर तनु सम नहीं कवनि हुदेही जीव चराचर जाचत जेही. Kagbasundji says to Guruji Maharaj, ki hey Garud, there is no form equal to the human form, this human body. Jiva charachar, char achar, animate as well as inanimate. All desires birth in the human form, even devatas, celestial gods. People worship devatas. There's a place called heaven, Swarg, where devatas reside, heavenly beings. Indra, the king of heaven, the god of rain. Agni, the god of fire. Vayu, the god of wind. Kuber, the god of wealth. Is not a god, Bhagavan. These are celestial beings. Sometimes people say demigod. People want to go to heaven, so they pray to celestial beings. But the people who are living in heaven, the celestial beings, they are praying to God for what? For what we have. This human body. Durlabham manusham janma prarthyate tirashairapi. Narad Puran. The devatas are praying to Shri Krishna. Hey Shri Krishna, we are begging you, praying to you, please give us birth in the human form. We don't want heaven, there is nothing here. Bhagwan Sri Ram himself says to the residents of Ayodhya, बड़े भाग्य मनुष्य तनु पावा सुर दुर्लभ सदग्रंथनि गावा बोलो जय
राम श्री राम
जय
जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
बड़े भाग्य मानुष तनु पावा. Shri Ram is saying to the residents of Ayodhya, God is saying, it is the greatest fortune for the soul that acquires birth in the human form, the human body. Sur means devatas, celestial beings, celestial gods. Sura Durlabh. They are praying and begging to get the opportunity to get human birth and they can't get it. Imagine we are praying to go to heaven and they who are living in heaven are praying to get what we have. Jagadguru Shankaracharya says, Manuja dehamimam bhuvi dullabham samadhigamya surairapi vanchitam vishayalam pattam apahaya vai bhajatare manuja kamalapatim. O human beings, having acquired this very valuable human birth that even devatas, celestial gods are begging and praying for, give up this lust for sensual pleasures and worship the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. Thousands of places. Gayanti deva kila gita kani dhanyastu ye bharat bhumi bhage. The devatas are glorifying the soul that acquires birth in the human form. But why is human birth told to be so superior? What do we get? What can human birth attain? I had said it already. Kagbasundji gave the answer. Naraka swarga apavarga niseni jnana viraga bhakti sukha deni. Narak means hell. Kagbasundji tells Guruji the human body is the best means to go to hell. Jai Ho. After praising the human body so highly, he says it's the best means for going to hell. Why? There's a reason. You see, as I told you, God has given human beings the great gift of knowledge, Gyan. But if this knowledge is not put to the right use in the right direction, it is bound to be put to the wrong use in the wrong direction, and not in an ordinary way, but in a most terrible way. If all the greatest brains in the world were to come together and tried to teach a donkey, gadha, a donkey how to steal, they won't get very far. But if the same training is given to one of us, without training we steal, we know how to steal. Far less if we have good training. People will go to the commissioner house and steal. Huh? This is why Kak Basundiji is saying 99% of human beings are going to hell. They only want to enjoy the world. Nobody loves God. They are praying to God, but for the world. If I can't get it in Sanatana Dharma, in Hinduism, I'll go to Christianity. If I can't get it in Christianity, I'll become a Muslim. But I'm going to go where I think that I will get the world by praying to God. Greed. Anybody come and tell me to do something, I can get something fulfilled, I'm going to go there. Even if it means worshipping bhoot and pret, ghosts and spirits. And that's a big thing nowadays. Everybody worshipping, lots of people worshipping bhoot, ghosts, and you know what happens who worship? Shri Krishna says in Gita, Yanti devatan devan pitrin yanti pitipataha bhutani yanti bhuteja yanti madhyajino pimam. Chapter 9 verse 25 Gita. Not me, Shri Krishna is saying this in Gita. Those who worship devatas, celestial gods, beings, they will go to heaven, become devatas. Those who worship the pitris, the ancestors, they will go to the abode of the pitris. They'll become pitris, ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits, bhoot and pret, they will become ghosts and spirits. And those who worship God, they will go to God. Simple. Simple. Of the 1% that remain, 99% wants to go to heaven. Swarg. Many people like to think that when our near and dear ones have died, that they have gone to heaven. People even say, today my father went to heaven, my mother went to heaven, my brother went to heaven. Oh, my dearest brother who is living in heaven. We think heaven is a great place. Besides Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma, almost every religion offers heaven as a final reward for the performance of good action. What is most surprising is that we who call ourselves Hindus, Sanatanis, have no idea what this place heaven is or what happens there. We have no idea. We call ourselves Hindu and we have no idea. Because everyone wants to go to heaven. And we are warned. We are warned in the scriptures about heaven. Bhagwan Sri Ram himself is warning the residents of Ayodhya. He is saying, Uttarkand of the Ramayana.
एहि तन कर फल विषय भाई स्वर्ग स्वर्प अंत दुख दाई जय राम श्री राम
तन कर फल विषय न भाई. Bhagwan, God is saying to the residents of Ayodhya, this human body, which he just mentioned, even devatas are begging and praying and can't get it, is so valuable, was not given to you to enjoy sensual pleasures. Vishaya na bhai. Nor was it given to go to heaven, Swarg. Why? Swargahu swalp. Because there's no true happiness. The happiness in heaven are only those of this material world multiplied a number of times. And since there is zero happiness here, no matter how many times you multiply by zero, you're going to get zero. It's only for a little time you're going to go and enjoy, and then you have to come back right here and suffer. He says, Swargahu swalp anta dukkhadai. There is no true happiness in heaven. And after you go there, you're going to suffer. Anta dukkhadai. What does he mean? Shri Krishna tells us in Gita, Tetam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam kshine punye martyalokam vishanti evam tai dharmanupapanna gatagatam kama kama labhante. Chapter 9, verse 21, Gita. Shri Krishna says, when you perform dharma, good actions, etc., we acquire something called punya. Punya, spiritual merits, which will determine in which heaven we will go. There are many heavenly regions. Which heaven we will go and how long we will stay there for. But he says, when you go there in heaven and you start enjoying the vast pleasures of heaven, what happens? Kshine punya. That punya starts destroying. And one day it's going to become zero. And then what will happen? Martyalokam vishanti. You'll be kicked out of heaven. And what will happen after that? The Vedas tell us, Ishta purtam manyamana varishtham nanya chreyo vedayante pramudha na kasya prishtete sukatena bhutimam lokam hintaram va vishanti. Mundak Upanishad, first Mundak, second Kand, 10th mantra. The Vedas are saying the person who performs action to go to heaven and wants to go to heaven is not only an ordinary fool, but the greatest fool. The word moodh in Sanskrit means fool. And when you add the prefix pra before a word, it means the greatest. Pramudha. Why? Because after enjoying heaven, you're going to be thrown into the lowest form of life. Hi nataramba vishanti. Because all karma has been destroyed in heaven. You become zero. So now you have to start all over again. After enjoying in heaven as a devta, a celestial being, you'll be thrown in the womb of dog, cat, donkey, worm. What a wonderful thing. We don't understand. We think we call ourselves Hindu, but we have very little knowledge of Hindu philosophy. Very little. Most time we don't even like to listen. We like nice little story, katha, where we can laugh and giggle and make joke. Why does Swamiji doesn't tell a story? Philosophy is only going over my head. I can't understand anything he's saying. We don't like philosophy. And that's most important. Knowledge. If we don't have knowledge, we don't know what to do. Because of not knowing who we are, identifying with this human body, we have been rotating in 8.4 million forms of life. All because of ignorance. Identifying with the physical body. And we'll continue rotating until that knowledge comes that I am not the body, I am the soul, the Atma. Knowledge, Tattva Gyan is very important. So, of the 1%, 99% will want to go to heaven. They are also fools. Very few remain who have taught, look, I have been in existence from beginningless time. The soul, the Atma is beginningless. I have been to heaven uncountable times. These few individuals, and have not found any happiness, they strive to attain moksha, liberation. Moksha. Naraka, Swarga, Apavarga. Apavarga means moksha, liberation. And there remains those very few individuals who have discarded even moksha. And they strive to attain the highest attainment, bhakti, divine love. Jnana virag bhakti sukha deni. You see, this human body is the giver of so many fruits. Punyena punya lokam nayati, papena papamubhabhyam eva manushya lokam. If you do good actions, you get good fruits, you go to heaven. You do bad actions, you get bad fruits, you go to hell. You do neither good nor bad, you come back in this material world. You go beyond reserve, you go beyond good and bad, you attain moksha, liberation. And if you go beyond the desire for moksha, you attain bhakti, the highest attainment. Only in the human body, because only in the human body we can do sadhana, we can do bhakti. A cow cannot do bhakti, a dog cannot do bhakti. Devta, they do bhakti, but their action do not bear fruits. They are called a bhog yoni. They only enjoy the fruits of their past action. Only human being, kartum mayoyam purusha, tasmat kartum kurvit. The Vedas say purushart, meaning the action that you perform bears fruit, can be done only in the human birth, the human body. Every other form of life is a bhog yoni. They are only enjoying the fruits of their past action. We, the soul, migrates in all these bodies, enjoying the fruits of the past. Whatever action you perform, you will have to enjoy the fruits, good or bad. And bhakti, devotion, the path where we can go direct to God and never have to come back here. Only in human birth. Bhagwan Shri Ram says this to the residents of Ayodhya.
साधन धाम मोक्ष कर द्वारा पाई न जेहि परलोक सवारा जय राम श्री राम जय जय श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
Sadhan dham. After saying, Bare bhagya manushitanu pava sura durlabh sad grantha nigava, it is the greatest fortune for the soul that who acquires birth in the human form, that even devtas, celestial gods, are begging and praying for it and can't get it. He says, the reason why it is the greatest fortune, because sadhana dham moksha kar dwara. It is the dham, the abode of sadhana, where we can do bhakti, devotees. No other form of life. Only in the human form we can do bhakti, we can do sadhana, which will liberate us from this material world. Aur pahi na jehi paraloka savara. And having gotten it, we do not try to utilize it in the right way. To become free, that we never have to come back in this material world and suffer. We make all kind of foolish excuses. We blame time, we blame destiny, we even blame Bhagavan, God. Because all we want to do is to enjoy the senses, have a good time. We have done that uncountable times. It's about time we realize we have a golden opportunity, a wonderful opportunity. But at which moment we can lose it, nobody knows. We don't even know we'll live to see tomorrow. Bhaiya, how many people in this time of COVID? This should teach a lesson to us. Now today you see somebody healthy, and next day what happened? He gone. Before COVID, forget COVID. How many people, today you were talking with him this evening, tomorrow you call the telephone, nobody's answering. Then you call the wife answers, what happened? He gone. Last night he went to sleep, this morning when I went to wake him, he was cold. Nobody knows, bhaiya. And yet, we keep procrastinating. We keep putting off. Do not put off, do not procrastinate. Do what you have to do right now. In the closing, there was a saint named Kabir, a great saint, Kabir. Kabir said, Kaal kare so aaj kare so ab. Pal mein parle hoigi, fero karego kab. Bhaiya, when you plan that I'm going to worship Bhagwan tomorrow, I'm going to do devotion, I'm going to do sadhana tomorrow, do it today. When you plan I'm going to do it today, do right now. For in the twinkling of an eye, death will take you. And then when are you going to do? Kab karenge? Nobody can guarantee, yet we keep procrastinating. I will do, not right now, next year, next month, next 5 years, next 10 years. I have so much things to do still, man. And next day we are gone. We have all these wonderful plans. What's going to happen? Think about it. So we have such a wonderful gift. The greatest gift that God can give, the human body. Are we making the right use of it? Let us think about it. Let me leave you with a thought tonight. There's much more some other time. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki jai. Siyavar Ramchandra ki jai. Umapati Mahadev ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.